Morning grade 9s. So you see I put you all on one team just to manage you kids, because I can see some kids haven't been going on teams and like checking out my files or my worksheets. But I don't know, I think some of you are probably just getting it on WhatsApp from your friends because your devices are getting problems. So please make sure you're working. Hey? I don't want to come back to school and find out that there's about 20 or 30% of you that haven't done my work. So no, none of you have asked me some questions on some of the harder factorization questions. I'm going to do 4 of them with you quickly, and then you're going to go on to your revision exercise for today, and then it's Easter weekend, so you guys can have a break until Tuesday next week. We'll do one last part of factorization with simplification in factorization, where you factorize and then you cancel off brackets. We'll do that on Tuesday. But let's just do the finishing off of factorization now. The revision work for today is all the factorization combined. Alright, so remember when you factorize, highest common factor, common brackets, difference of two squares, grouping of pairs, and trinomials. So when you go into your revision exercise, you have to go, they're not going to tell you which to use. I have done lesson by lesson on each of the factorizations per lesson. This revision exercise is like the test. It'll just be factorize the following. And you have to decide which of the 5 is in the questions, which one is it each time. Okay, don't forget that your highest common factor can be grouped into each one of those other ones. So it can be highest common factor followed by a difference of 2 squares. Or it could just be a difference of 2 squares question. And you'll see that inside your exercise now. For those of you like my wife now, giving me funny eyes, that haven't been working, will not remember what all your concepts are. You have to be working the concepts so that if you're working with me, you know what I'm talking about. Remember, I tell you something every day in my school, in lessons. I tell you, if you're not working, you won't understand my language I'm talking about. You have to understand what I'm saying. Okay, so let's go and look at the hard questions. So it's not really that hard, but that's a trinomial. So you think of just your 2 brackets. But before I can pull up my 2 brackets, I have to pull out a highest common factor first. So this is a combined question. This question is HCF, highest common factor, followed by my trinomial. Okay, so I pull out a 3 and I'm left with a squared minus 5a. And then if I pull out a 3, 3 times 6. And then I factorize this trinomial. I'll leave a 3 there and I'll be left with 2 brackets. What are my factors? I know it's going to be 6 and 1. But I need to get to negative 5. Okay, so it should be negative, so it's a and a, negative 6 plus 1. What's negative 6 plus 1? Negative 5. And what's negative 6 times positive 1? Negative 6. Next one again, highest common factor, and you can see it's just an x. So I pull out an x and I'm left with x squared minus 12x plus 27. Then I do trinomial. So I leave my x where it is, open bracket, open bracket. I know it's x and x, and I have to think of my factors of 27 that can get me to 12. And it's 9 times 3. Alright, so it's 9 and 3. And I need a positive 27, so they both have to be positive. So it has to be negative and a negative. Because what's negative 9 minus 3? It's negative 12. And if I times these 2 negative together, it gives me a positive, and 3 times 9 is 27. So it's those factors of 27 that can get me there. This one over here. It'll ask you to factorize it. Now this one here, now wheels will fall off now, because you'll be like, sir, factorize, but now we're simplifying, we're multiplying the brackets that you told us never to multiply. Yeah, but we have to, it's underneath the factorization question. So I'm going to times this k in to give me k squared minus 9k minus 52, and then I'm going to factorize it. And you have to just use your times tables. Yeah, I know our times tables suck. I'll be looking for one of my kids to give me the times tables of this one, and I think it is 13 and 4. And I have to make it, how do I get 13 and 4? Because 13 times 4 gives me 52. But how do I get 13 and 4 if I add or subtract them to negative 9? It'll be negative 13 plus 4. What's negative 13 plus 4? It's negative 9. And if I times these together, does it give me that? Yes, it does. Next one. Again, highest common factor. Oh, there should have been X here. I'll pull out a -3. Oh, this is what I want to tell you. You see there's a negative here. You want to pull the whole negative out. You want it to land with a trinomial that has a positive x squared. Okay, so I pull the -3 out. So a negative times a what will give me a positive? It's a negative times a negative. And it is 8x. And a negative times what will give me a negative there? A positive 15. Check ourselves, just times it out just to see if it gets back to the same answer. So that times that for that times that for that, and that times that for that. Now I've got my normal trinomial, and I have to factorize that trinomial, give me 2 brackets. 15, I think it's 3 and 5. X and x, it's 3 and 5. -3, -5. What's -3 minus 5? -8. And what's -3 times -5? Positive 15. Same thing all the time repeating. And the last one. Again, what do I do now? Pull out the negative. So if I pull out a negative, everything changes. Nazi was getting this spot on with everything changes. Remember, you pull out a negative and everything changes. And then it's 2 brackets. And it's 6. What will get me to positive 5? All right. Now watch out. It can't be 2 and 3. It can't be 2 and 3. Let me do one. This is going to be wrong, right? Watch here. X, 2, X, and 3. So this is going to be wrong. I'll do another one below at the right answer. Now, how do I get it to negative? If I times these two together, how do I get it to? So one has to be positive, one has to be negative for it to, if I times it out. So let's say plus, minus. But then, if I times these together, it gets me -6. But then this to get me my middle term, it can't work. What's -2 plus 3? It's positive 1. So it can't work. Even if I make that a plus and that a minus. What's 2 minus 3? It's -1. So I can't get my middle term, so I know I'm wrong. So I keep the negative, it's 2 brackets, and the right factors that I should have used is 6 and 1. And it has to be positive 6 minus 1, because what's 6 minus 1? 5. And if I times these together, does it give me -6? Yes, it does. Okay. Now, it's mathematics, people. So if you're not practicing and not going over and over, now, I used to sit in class and think like this. Now, how does this teacher do this? Because teachers are teaching it every year. You're in and out with teaching this. So we are basically training every year for this. You kids, and it's normal. I was there. My wife was there. My kids are going to be there one day. You don't want to practice maths. There's only about 10% of you want to practice maths. So please make sure you're practicing. Go over my videos. You've got all my videos now on YouTube. You can go back and check them. How to factorize. Okay, so please. And the revision exercise that I'm doing for you now, take it like a test. Now you'll find Monisha, you'll find Stephanie, you'll find all my kids that are hardworking will go now and act like a test. And then kids that were like me at school will go home, or you at home already, will take this revision exercise and cheat the whole way through. And like just check, go turn back your book and you try and turn back and try. Don't do that. Take it like a test, grade 9s. Go now, do the exercise I'm giving you. Wait for my answers to be posted at 12. Once my answers are posted, tick them. And let's see what your scores are. And Soma, post your scores on Teams for me. Let's see what you get. Be bold. Don't be afraid. If you don't do well, just write there, I didn't do well, sir. Then I'll know. Please, I'm not with you kids, this is hard. Like I always tell you guys, I wish I could jump out your cupboard and catch you guys sleeping when you should be working. But I can't. So work hard, train hard, and have a good weekend. Much love to all.